Tom Chaney from Maryland. This is my wife, Stephanie Chaney. Just to give you guys an idea of where we were when we started, I was seeing about 50 patient visits a week, and this was in 2002. And I was just at the end of my rope. I told Stephanie, I'm like, my thought was, I'm just going to get this up to a point where it's viable and just get rid of this practice. I want it out. And I was just at the end of my rope, like some of the other doctors here had said. And then I opened this magazine one day, and this thing fell in my lap, and I called for this free evaluation, and talked to Austin, and went out to California, and I went out there for 10 days, came back the next month, I had 57 new patients in the office. Yeah, so it was just myself and one other staff member. And that other staff member happened to be my mom. So So 57 new patients, processed all of them.
But his mom, but he didn't pay himself. At home then. He's just a new grad, bought an office, started from scratch, living at home, not paying himself.
Yeah, so that was 6 months out of school. 6 months out of school, out of school I just opened up, doing my thing. 6 months I was ready to go, to a new career. That's where I was.
You wanted to be a mechanic at that point. I'm like, have you ever done that before? No? But I like working on cars.
So just to get rid of these problems, I thought it would work easier just to work with some other career. I was just thinking so irrational. So learned ROF, went back, like I said, 57 new patients. Stats just kept going up. We were seeing, like I said, when I started, 50 patient visits a week. Within a couple months, we had doubled that. Right now, we're at about 300 a week. We have 2 doctors in the office, so neither one of us treat currently. My wife, she is the head of the division, or the head of the organization. She's the executive director. And both of us, we're out of the office 2 days a week, so we're only in the office 3 days a week. And I think the biggest thing that I got is, you're doing these courses and you're applying these courses to the practice, and I started applying them to my life, and I could really see how everything that was going on in my practice, everything that was going on in my life, like with staff or with patients, and it was all a reflection of what I was going through in my life at that point, and just things that were going on with me. It was all a reflection of me. And so being able to handle those things with myself just took care of the problems in the office, and that was like one of the biggest wins that I had just from doing these courses. So make sure when you're doing these courses, you're doing them with the mindset that you want to get this certain product and really make it applicable to your life and how you can use it in your office. That's the most important thing.
Awesome. So while he was struggling and living at home and not paying himself, I was a treating doctor. I was an associate chiropractor in another office, and so I was the breadwinner. and he came to me and he said, I want to join. This is what it is, and so he did it. And once he got the practice up to a certain point where he could only do so much, and now he was confronting getting a treating doctor, he was actually interviewing treating doctors. So we talked one night, and I said, well, why don't I come into the practice, and then you can just treat, and I will just do report of findings.
And I actually interviewed a doctor and sent her to
replace me.
Replace her.
So I spent a few months training this woman up. I was working for the president of the Maryland Chiropractic Association, and so there are 4 big kahunas now currently involved with the state association. 4? Steve, you, Rick? Yeah, 4 and growing. So and I'm freed up now to where I can actually look at being on the board of examiners, because that requires multiple days during the month to be able to participate. So it really puts us at a position where we can do something about whatever it is that we feel we need to do something about, rather than kind of sit back and be in our office and complain all day, which is what the reality was when we were working in that manner. We've got a great group of staff. We have 2 executives now that we're both getting executive trained to have one in this current office be an executive director and another when we open the second office. And they both flew down with us on Tuesday, so we've all been out of the office since Tuesday, and all of the stats were up, and we collected last week over $28,000.
Wow.
So, I'm very relaxed about it. So that's been a great win for us.